is the Demystifying Crypto and Building Wealth podcast.
I knew that would be worth trillions.
That had never existed in human history.
There's been massive opportunities.
The #1 podcast to help you understand and get insights into the crypto world, blockchain technology, wealth building, and financial investing. Now, here's your host, Tico Tawari, the world's #1 most trusted cryptocurrency analyst and Wall Street veteran with decades of experience in the financial space.
Hello, friends, and welcome. Big T here with this week's update on what's going on in the crypto market. I'm going to give everybody a couple of minutes to come on board here and talk about what's going on. Okay, there's been a lot of big news this week that has not really percolated its way into investor sentiment or actually into the news as it relates to crypto assets. So looking forward to talking to you a lot about that. All right, so what I want to do is talk about something that is happening right now that is going to completely remake the entire crypto space in a way, at least based on my experience of talking to my audience and the interactions that I have within this space. The everyday average crypto investor is not positioned for. And in my opinion, they're going to either, one, get left behind, or they're going to be left holding tokens that are not going to participate in this next leg of the bull market. Now, I call this phenomenon the Convergence. I'm putting on an event tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. It is free to attend. If you don't have an invite yet, you can go to bigtconvergence.com and you can sign up there. It's bigtconvergence.com. I'll be giving away a free coin. I've given away that coin 8 times before. The smallest gain that coin has ever had on one of my recommendations is 48%. And I think it'll do much more than that this time around. So the key here, whether you work with me or somebody else, or you just exclusively work for yourself, I want you to reschedule whatever you need to reschedule and be there tonight at 8 o'clock, because the information there is not being relayed anywhere else. Certain folks have certain bits of that story, but they haven't put the entire story together in a way that explains where you need to have your capital committed in order to make the most amount of money from this run. Because not only do you need to have capital in that area, you need to make sure that you're not overweighted in other areas that just will not participate. This will not be a broad-based bull market like we saw in 2017. There will be a small subsector of coins that I believe will radically outperform everything else. Now, if you're already a member of mine over at Inside Crypto, I'm going to, of course, guide you through this. I have a new service that's launching tonight that is dedicated specifically to this subsector of coins. So again, whether you work with me, somebody else, or you just work on your own, it is imperative that you know where this next wave of the bull market is going to show up, where that capital is going to flow into. It is going to be critically important to your success. Here's the thing to understand. We are at a time in the markets right now where overall usage of many of these projects are low. And there is this sense of belief among crypto participants that either the bull market is over, it's different this time, usage is low, that's indicative that there's no value. Here's the thing. I've been in this space since 2016. I've arguably helped more people navigate it to life-changing wealth than anybody else. Have I got every single thing right? No. Show me a person who has. But I've been able to take people from cycle to cycle to cycle to cycle, and we have profited from the emergent leaders in each one of those cycles. And I've been very good at getting my readers into these emerging leadership coins before usage exploded. I'm here to tell you that usage is going to explode to a level that we have never ever seen before. But it's going to happen in a section of coins that most people are just not familiar with. They don't know about. They either don't know them, or they're suspicious of them, or they have no idea that they exist. But it is these coins that are going to be catapulted to the new leadership levels based on the research that I'll reveal tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern. So I want you to be there. Go to bigtconvergence.com, sign up, set an alarm on your phone, and be there at 8 p.m. Eastern. It is critically important that you attend. Okay, I want to talk a little bit now about what's going on with Bitcoin, some things that have happened that I believe are wildly bullish, that are not yet being priced in Bitcoin and not being priced into crypto at all. I have not seen a disconnect this big between a piece of news that hit the market and the lagging price of Bitcoin since BlackRock filed their Bitcoin ETF application back in June of the previous year. At that time, Bitcoin was trading between $20,000 and $25,000. When that application came in, I said, this is insane that the market is not reacting to this. I mean, this should take us immediately to 50K, 60K. This is huge news. And yet the market yawned. Repeatedly, you will see that this asset gets misunderstood by market participants. It happens again and again and again. And thank God it does. Because when that registration statement went through, and I saw that the market wasn't reacting. I didn't think I'd get a chance to buy more Bitcoin, but I saw that the market wasn't reacting. I took millions of dollars of my own money, millions and millions and millions of dollars, and I bought Bitcoin. Millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, because I said, this is crazy. How can this thing still be trading between 20 and 25K with this news on the table? And of course, there was a large degree of skepticism in the market, as there generally is in Bitcoin most of the time. And I was able to profit from that. My readers will be able to profit from that. So we have another opportunity like that occurring right now. There is a degree of skepticism that is keeping Bitcoin here at 63 and change when it should be pushing close to 100K. So what am I talking about specifically? There are two things that I'm talking about that have happened that the market is just, yawned over, to me are massively bullish for Bitcoin. I can't overstate how bullish it is for Bitcoin. So let's talk about the first one. The first one is on September 20th, the SEC approved options trading on Bitcoin. This is wildly bullish. Now, the reason why the SEC approved options on Bitcoin is because of a catalyst that I talk about tonight. Tonight, I talk about this catalyst that is going to take the SEC from this obstructionist stand to this supportive stand. And it has to do with a very specific court ruling that happened this year, and I talk about it tonight. So we are seeing proof of that already taking place, because the SEC, without this previous court ruling, would have just stood in the way of Bitcoin ETFs probably for years. So the fact that they approved it the first time out, they didn't drag their feet on it forever, is hugely bullish. Now we have to wait for the CFTC and the options exchange to approve it as well. I don't know how long that will take, but the fact that the SEC has approved it is a huge deal. Now, I can hear some of you saying, so what, that Bitcoin's going to trade options? No, you don't understand. The fact that Bitcoin will be trading options in the United States and it will be cleared on a U.S. exchange where there is zero counterparty risk is huge. It allows institutions to come into Bitcoin at a scale where they couldn't do before, because now they can employ hedging strategies with their options contracts. They can buy $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. They can sell calls, 30% out of the money, use that premium to buy puts, which will be way cheaper, because as FOMO comes in, call premiums are going to spike. I can't imagine what call premiums are going to be when this bull market really gets some real steam behind it. They're going to be insane. You're going to be able to sell call premium, buy puts essentially for free, and then if you have money left over, you can even buy way out of the money calls And if Bitcoin just goes up a little bit, the gamma explosion on those out-of-the-money calls is going to go bananas. So what that does, being able to have options on Bitcoin, what it does is it attracts more money to Bitcoin, because you can hedge, you can speculate, you can create synthetic leverage. There's all these different strategies that maybe you and I won't use, but institutions use constantly. So it's incredibly bullish that this has come about. The other thing for individuals is that you'll finally be able to get some yield on your Bitcoin. You can say, okay, I'm going to sell calls on 20% of my Bitcoin position, and you'll be able to get some yield on that. The other thing that the market has completely closed their eyes to is that the SEC, on a case-by-case basis, is handing out waivers on Special Accounting Bulletin 121. Now, before you fall asleep at your desk, this little bit of wonky legislation is incredibly important. So Special Accounting Bulletin 121 says that if I custody $1 of Bitcoin, I have to put up $1 of my own capital. So if I'm custodying $50 billion worth of Bitcoin, I got to lock up $50 billion worth of capital against that. This has stopped banks from coming into the custody space of these assets. And it slowed down the creation of financial assets built around Bitcoin. But the SEC, we have just found out that the SEC is handing out waivers to certain banks. One such bank is Bank of New York Mellon. They are one of, if not the largest custodian bank in the world. So what does this mean? It means that once you have banks that can custody, not Coinbase, but banks that can custody, it brings a new air of respectability and credibility to the asset. It also allows the creation of many more financial products built not just around Bitcoin, not just around Ethereum, not just around Solana, but around a slew of crypto products. It acts as this money train from traditional finance into crypto. You got to understand how conservative pension fund managers and institutional capital allocators are. These guys and gals, they make high six figures, low seven figures every year just to administer our capital, right? And all they're doing is essentially benchmarking to the S&P 500 and then trying to get a little alpha with a small part of the portfolio. So they're going to want a piece of this action, but they don't want to put their salaries at risk. So if you now have Bank of New York Mellon, BlackRock, Fidelity, you have Morgan Stanley, you have these massive institutions that are now coming behind Bitcoin, and you buy a Bitcoin product for your fund or for your pension fund, you're not going to get fired, right? Because you can say, look, BNY Mellon is custodying for us. BlackRock is creating the securities for us. So this is a huge, huge deal. The fact that banks can now custody, at least on a limited basis, and the fact that you will have options trading on Bitcoin, it means that you are going to see an explosion of liquidity come into Bitcoin, an explosion of liquidity. And what's good for Bitcoin is great for all of the altcoins. The other thing that you need to be aware of is that the entire world is moving from a tightening stance with monetary policy to a loosening stance, and they're all doing it at once. Japan has stopped raising interest rates and is backing off. The PBOC, the Chinese Central Bank, is starting to inject massive liquidity into their economy. The ECB, the European Central Bank, is talking about cutting interest rates. We are already cutting interest rates, and this is happening around the world. The thing you have to remember about Bitcoin and crypto in general is that it is an international global market. It's not a regional market or a national market like the Nikkei or the All Ordinary Index in Australia or the Dow Jones here in the United States. Bitcoin is a global asset. It trades 24 hours a day. It is a barometer of global liquidity. An analyst recently used that term. I'm trying to remember her name. Lynn Alden used that term, and I think she's absolutely correct. So as global liquidity goes up, a bunch of it finds its way into Bitcoin. We have deficit spending occurring in the United States at a rate that is, quite frankly, terrifying. And so this is the reason why gold is breaking out to all-time new highs, and it's why I believe that Bitcoin will continue to have massive moves higher. Massive moves higher. Friends, hear me when I tell you, we are in the calm before the storm. Yes, you can look at Bitcoin and say, oh my God, it's so boring, it's not doing anything. You know, crypto prices are so boring, it's not doing anything. This is the calm before the storm. This is when usage is low. And this is when you must buy. You must be getting long now. Again, tonight I have my event at 8 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to share 6 coins in my service of where you need to be positioned in order to take advantage of this wave of liquidity that's coming in, because it will not wash upon crypto in an even fashion. Yes, Bitcoin will go higher. Yes, Ethereum will go higher. Solana will go higher. Some other coins will do very well. But the biggest gains, in my opinion, are going to be in this tiny subsector of coins that are less than 1% of all of crypto. They are, in my opinion and in my research, are going to be the recipient of more capital than they have ever seen in their entire existence, and it's going to be absolutely breathtaking. So the time to take action is now. You don't wait for confirmation. By the time you wait for confirmation, these things have already moved up 3, 4, 5x. So the important thing to know is that if you're sitting there thinking, oh, I'm bored, or oh, there's too much volatility, or maybe that's not time. Remember what I've taught you, that you've got to go in the, generally speaking, you've got to go in the opposite direction of what your emotional propensity is telling you to do. And I am telling you, as someone that has been in this market and has successfully called most of the turning points in this market, this news of the SEC bringing options on Bitcoin and SAB 121 getting waived for certain big banks is not priced in. And that has nothing to do with the 3 catalysts that I talk about tonight on the Convergence. But these 2 catalysts alone are not priced in Bitcoin. They're not at all. If they were, we'd be well over $100,000. Friends, I am telling you that we are going much, 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 much higher. Much higher. And so the key for you is to make sure you're positioned. Plug up your ears when the media gets stupid. You know, they got to get clicks. And just be patient. You got to let that game come to you. You've got to let this market unfold, because all the chess pieces are in front of us. They're telling us what they're doing. Okay? They can't hide from us. They might back talk about crypto, but you don't file for options on crypto. You don't have the world's one of the world's largest custody firms say, we want to waive it so we can custody crypto, and you're not going to build crypto products. Okay? So just unplug from all the nonsense. Questions about war, questions about recession. Look, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't tell you what happens if we have a war tomorrow. I can't tell you what happens if we have a recession tomorrow. But here's what I can tell you. American policy, when you have a war or when you have a recession, is simple. Print money, lower taxes, stimulate the economy. Right? Anybody going to disagree with me on that? All of those things increase the money supply. And when you increase the money supply, you're lowering the overall value of all the rest of the money that's out there. It's inflationary. And that's incredible. incredibly bullish for Bitcoin. Okay. All right, friends. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got a very busy day, as you can imagine. I want to see you all tonight at bigtconvergence.com. I cannot wait to reveal my research to you and show you exactly what I'm seeing so you can be as excited and as bullish as I am, because right now I am wildly bullish. I don't care if Bitcoin goes down to 58 or 48 or 40K tomorrow. I don't care. It doesn't matter. What I care about is where are we going to be a year from now? And my research suggests we are going to be radically higher from where we are today. All right, friends, thank you so much for tuning in. And as I always like to say, I want you to always remember, let the gain come to you.
So that concludes today's episode. Thank you for listening. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments section. You can find the show notes on www.tikatiwari.com. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with others, talk about it on social media, and leave a rating and review. Don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss another episode. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.